What if I told you one of the most misunderstood mysteries in the entire Bible wasn't Cain's murder? It was what happened afterward. Because everybody remembers Cain killing Abel, but almost nobody talks about what God did next. And honestly, it might be even more shocking. Jose, explain this to me. Cain commits the first murder in human history. He kills his own brother. God catches him. God judges him. And then, instead of allowing revenge, God places a mysterious mark on Cain and protects him. I'm sorry, what? Why would God protect the first murderer? Who was Cain being protected from? And what exactly was this thing called the Mark of Cain? A curse? A warning? A blessing? Or one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in Genesis? Because the deeper I dig, the stranger this story becomes.
See, that's where I think you're already making a mistake.
5 seconds into the video? That's got to be a new record.
And you're already assuming the mark was protection, but I doubt it.
Genesis literally says God put a mark on Cain so nobody would kill him. That sounds like protection to me.
Maybe, or maybe it was something more complicated. But don't worry, today we're not just looking at Genesis. We're also going to see what an ancient book called the Book of Jubilees says about Cain. Because while Genesis gives us almost no details about the mark, Jubilees may provide clues that make this mystery even more complicated.
Wait, the same Book of Jubilees that keeps showing up every time we investigate one of these Genesis mysteries?
The very same. And what it says about Cain is fascinating. But before we get there, we need to understand why God placed the mark in the first place.
Here's what gets me. When people tell this story, they stop at the murder. Cain kills Abel. The end. But that's not the end. That's where the mystery starts. Because after God confronts Cain, something unexpected happens.
Very unexpected.
Honestly, I would have expected lightning, fire, a giant sinkhole, something.
A lot of people would.
Instead, God starts talking to him, questioning him, judging him, and Cain is still standing there, alive. Why?
After God pronounces judgment, Cain says something fascinating. He says, "My punishment is greater than I can bear."
Greater than you can bear? Seriously? Come on, Cain. You killed your own brother. The first murder in human history. If anything, I'd say God went easy on you. Tell me I'm not the only one thinking that.
A lot of viewers probably are.
I'm just saying, this isn't a guy who forgot to return a borrowed shovel. He murdered his brother. And now he's complaining that the consequences are unfair? My sympathy tank is running pretty low right now.
You're not being very charitable.
Neither was Cain.
Fair point. But then Cain says something strange, something most people read right past. He says, "Whoever finds me will kill me."
And every time I read that verse, I stop. Wait, who exactly is whoever? Who is he talking about? Who's out there? Who's looking for him? Who's planning revenge? I know. We've had this conversation before, but it's just too important not to bring up again.
And honestly, that's fair, because it's one of Genesis's biggest mysteries. But here's what matters for today. Cain clearly believes someone is going to kill him.
He's scared, really scared.
Exactly, and that's when God responds.
This is the moment, the famous moment, the Mark of Cain. The thing that has inspired endless theories, books, movies, sermons, internet arguments, probably family arguments.
Definitely family arguments.
And after all that, after thousands of years of debate, what does Genesis actually tell us about it?
Almost nothing.
Of course.
Seriously, no description, no color, no symbol, no explanation, nothing. Genesis simply says God placed a mark on Cain so no one would kill him. That's it.
I swear Genesis loves doing this. It drops the biggest mystery imaginable and then just walks away.
It's almost impressive.
Okay, my position is simple. The mark was protection. That's what the text says. Cain deserved punishment. He got punishment. Then God showed mercy. Case closed.
Not even remotely closed.
Why do I feel a debate coming?
Because you're only looking at one side of the story. Yes, the mark protected him, I'll give you that. But protection doesn't automatically mean blessing.
Okay, go on.
Imagine being known forever as the man who murdered his brother. Imagine carrying a sign connected to that crime. Imagine everyone recognizing you, everywhere you go, for the rest of your life. That's not mercy, that's consequences.
Okay. That's actually darker than I was thinking.
Exactly. The mark may have protected Cain from death, but it may also have ensured he never escaped his past.
But you're assuming people could actually see the mark. The Bible never says that. Not once.
True, and that's a fair point. But if it was visible, it could have been both protection and judgment, protection and shame, protection and consequences.
Okay. I hate admitting this, but that's actually a pretty good argument.
Thank you. I'd like that recorded for future generations.
Don't get used to it, because we're diving into the ancient theories, and some of them are absolutely wild.
Including theories that suggest the mark may have physically changed Cain himself.
Which sounds completely crazy.
Until you start reading the sources, including what some ancient traditions and even the Book of Jubilees may have to say.
And that's where this mystery gets even stranger. Okay, Jose, you said some ancient traditions believe the Mark of Cain may have physically changed him. I'm going to be honest, that sounds completely made up.
I knew you'd say that. And to be fair, some of the theories are pretty wild. But remember, ancient readers were asking the same question we're asking. What exactly was the mark?
Okay, hit me with the weird stuff.
One ancient Jewish tradition suggested Cain grew a horn.
A horn? As in, an actual horn? On his head?
That's the theory.
Well, that escalated quickly. We went from mysterious sign to biblical unicorn.
Not exactly, but that's one example of how far people went trying to explain the mystery. Other traditions suggested his appearance changed. Some believed the mark was visible, others believed it wasn't. Some thought it was a supernatural sign that only certain people could recognize.
Which honestly tells us something important. Nobody knew.
Exactly. If Genesis had clearly explained the mark, these theories wouldn't exist.
Okay, you promised we'd talk about the Book of Jubilees. So what does it say? Does it finally tell us what the mark was?
Not exactly, and that surprises a lot of people. The Book of Jubilees expands parts of Cain's story. It gives extra details about Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, and their family. But even Jubilees doesn't clearly describe the mark itself.
Wait, seriously? Not even Jubilees?
Not even Jubilees, which is fascinating, because if an ancient writer wanted to invent an explanation, that would have been the perfect opportunity. Yet the mystery remains.
So even one of the most famous ancient books connected to Genesis leaves the question unanswered. That's actually kind of interesting.
It is, because it suggests ancient readers were just as curious as we are. But here's where my theory comes in. I think people focus too much on protection.
Because it literally protected him.
Yes, but hear me out. Imagine being Cain. You leave your family, you become a wanderer. Everyone knows your crime. Everywhere you go, you're the man who killed his brother.
That's true. He never gets to start over.
Exactly. The mark may have saved his life, but it may also have ensured he carried the consequences forever.
So you're saying the mark wasn't mercy or judgment, it was both.
Now you're catching on.
Okay, but I still think you're missing something.
What's that?
God didn't have to protect Cain at all. That's the part that keeps bothering me. Cain murdered Abel. God could have simply stepped aside, but he didn't. He intervened. He protected him. Why?
That's a good question, and I think the answer might reveal the deeper meaning of the story. What if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time?
Uh-oh. Whenever you say that, something strange is about to happen.
Think about it. The Bible never tells us what the mark looked like. Not once. No description, no details, nothing.
which is incredibly frustrating.
Very frustrating. But maybe that's intentional.
Meaning,
Maybe God doesn't want us focused on the appearance of the mark. Maybe He wants us focused on what the mark represents.
and what does it represent?
Consequences, justice, mercy, the fact that human actions matter, and the fact that even after terrible mistakes, God's story isn't finished.
You know, that's actually what surprises me most.
What's that?
That Cain's story doesn't end the moment he sins, because honestly, that's what I would have expected.
But Genesis is showing something deeper. Judgment is real, consequences are real, but God's dealings with humanity are often more complicated than we expect.
So now it's your turn. What do you think the mark of Cain was? A visible sign? A supernatural protection? A warning? A punishment? Or something else entirely?
And here's the bigger question. Why do you think the Bible never tells us exactly what it was?
Because after all these thousands of years, we're still talking about it.
And maybe that's the point.
If you've got a theory, let us know in the comments, especially if you've read Genesis, Jubilees, or other ancient sources.
And if you enjoyed this mystery, make sure to watch our other episodes exploring Cain, Abel, and the strange questions hidden in the opening chapters of Genesis.
Because apparently, Genesis refuses to answer anything directly.
And we keep coming back anyway.
We'll see you in the next mystery.